Medium dry martini, lemon peel, shaken, not stirred.
Vodka?
Of course.
Since the release of Dr. No in 1962, the James Bond films have gone from strength to strength. Now, celebrating the release of the 19th film in the series, The World Is Not Enough, the producers are still relying on Ian Fleming's winning formula. So what keeps the bonfire burning?
People ask me the question why these films work, and you try to figure out why they do work. And it's because the audience knows what to expect. It's become tradition, it's formula.
So you're a British spy. Do you have a name?
My name's Bond.
One hopes bloody great fun.
James Bond.
Part of the cocktail is the gadgets, the great sets, the big action scenes. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you have to deliver, but I think it's crucial that I deliver the cocktail as people know it.
Vodka martini. Shaken, not stirred.
It is true that Cubby followed Fleming's dictum, because he was asked, what constitutes a really good thriller? And he said, add all the advantages of expensive living. Give Bond the right clothes, the right background, and the right girl. Set your story in the most glamorous and beautiful of places. Describe everything in minute detail. And take your story along so fast that nobody notices the idiosyncrasies in it.
I thought you might enjoy one of these.
How romantic.
My son, who's never seen a James Bond film because he's too little, knows exactly who James Bond is and what James Bond does and that he's this dashing person. And then you get to the teenagers who absolutely adore this kind of heroic, captivating character. Then you have the female audience, of course, who Mr. Brosnan more than satisfies in many, many ways. And then there's the adult bloke, of course, who wants to be that person and wants to be the man who jumps out of the helicopters.
Bond, it's kind of a fantasy in a real world. It's and for an actor, it's fantastic because everything's possible.
Well, we try to give everyone the action and the adventure and the gadgets and those things that people expect. But I think what's the key element is to try to figure out how to tell a new story, try to find a different situation for Bond to be in.
Good evening. The Electra King kidnap ordeal is over. The Cyprus authorities say she has escaped after shooting dead 2 of her captors and is...
There's a backstory to this movie which is more complex than in most straight thrillers. That fact, I suppose, opened it out and meant we didn't feel like we were playing with just these blocks that you move.
Ever since Honey Rider emerged from the sea in Dr. No, James Bond has encountered a series of impossibly beautiful and aptly named women.
Who is that?
Ksenia Sergeyevna Onatop.
Audience now are very demanding, you know. They pay their seat and they want to have a spectacle, but a show, but also human story.
Renard had 3 enemies in that kidnapping. And there's still one he hasn't touched. Electra.
There's no point in living if you can't feel alive.
She's a complex character because she has different faces. She has a great power because she owns pipelines and all that. She's coming from a great family. So you have this certain image of a boss woman, you know.
My family has relied on MI6 twice, Mr. Bond. I won't make that mistake a 3rd time.
I think there's a lot of softness and femininity about her as well, because otherwise Bond wouldn't fall in love with her.
And what about you? What do you do to survive?
I take pleasure in great beauty.
Sophie is a wonderful French movie star, someone who you just easy to fall in love with. Very professional, very good, and for me makes it easier because it really is just about the 2 of us.
I thought it was your job to protect me.
You'll be safe here.
I don't want to be safe.
I'll be back soon.
Women are more at the centre in this film. Judi Dench, has got a much larger role than she's ever had before because she's such a great actress.
She's more implicated this time, that's all I can say, of course, being head of MI6.
Can't possibly tell you any more than that.
As you are aware, we do not negotiate with terrorists.
You use the girl as bait.
Yes.
When I was suddenly asked to play it, you know, it was a complete role reversal because it's always been a man.
I will not tolerate insubordination, 007.
I think it does kind of bring it up to date a bit. And it's huge fun to be able to be his boss. It's lovely.
I pulled the plutonium out of the one inside. You can detonate the triggers now.
Okay.
My character's name is Dr. Christmas Jones, and she's a nuclear weapons expert.
And you are?
Mikhail Arkos, Russian Atomic Energy Department. Miss?
Dr. Jones. Christmas Jones. And don't make any jokes, I've heard them all.
I don't know any doctor jokes.
She first thinks that James Bond is the villain and realizes that he's not, and becomes his ally and helps him save the world. All these explosions and gunfire. We're shooting it off bits and pieces and I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Your terrorist is back.
You're always trying to do variations on the actual formula, but the most important thing is to come up with a good villain.
Do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
They come in a variety of kinds and types. Some are physical heavies and some are intellectual challenges. Some are a combination of both. Some have a sort of a good and bad side of them, like Valentine does.
Who are you? And how did you get in? I'll call security and congratulate them. Drink? Can't you just say hello like a normal person?
My character is Valentin Zukovsky, who appeared in GoldenEye. And we never quite saw what happened to him.
Walther PPK. 7.65 millimeter. Only 3 men I know use such a gun. I believe I've killed 2 of them.
Lucky me.
I think not.
I'm first discovered with a gorgeous girl in each knee, spoon-feeding them caviar, which cost me a fortune.
You? Bond, James Bond. Meet Nina and Verushka.
Where's the girls, Valentine? We need to talk.
Why am I suddenly worried that I'm not carrying enough insurance? Huh? Chill out, James.
The thing is with Robbie, what you've got to watch is he'll just crack a gag before you do a take. You can't look like a tough, mean guy with him cracking gags, you know.
So look, can we do a full rehearsal? You ready, Goldie?
I played Zukovsky's dirty, undermining sidekick, planting bombs in unnecessary places.
Renard was most definitely the baddest bad guy in the movie. Welcome to the Devil's Breath. He's been attacked by an MI6 agent and he's been shot in the brain somewhere in about here.
How did he survive?
The doctor who saved Renard couldn't get the bullet out, so Renard killed him. It's moving through the medulla oblongata, killing off his senses. Touch, smell, he feels no pain. He can push himself harder, longer than any normal man.
While he's particularly evil and menacing, he's also somewhat sympathetic, like an underdog, a man they attempted to kill him, the MI6, and they've left a bullet in his brain which is slowly killing him. So he has to live with that while he's pursuing his goals. So it's kind of an interesting twist on the villain.
You can't kill me. I'm already dead. Not dead enough for me.
I think he's the best villain that I've encountered thus far. It's grounded in reality and, as I say, this obsessive energy that he has.
You had me. But I knew you couldn't shoulder the responsibility.
The bad guys are always fun to play, and particularly in a thing like this, because this is what this is all about. It's about fun, because it's a bad guy and it's shooting and it's bombs and stuff, but 15-year-olds have to be able to come and see this as well. So, you know, you get shot, you don't see blood, and that's a comic book, and you have to have fun, and certainly playing the baddie, you probably have the most amount of fun.
Glamorous locations have long been the Bond signature, but the practicalities of filming on those locations bring their own difficulties.
I'm supposed to be in Azerbaijan, so I was looking for something that had a slightly magical quality to it, which is kind of hard to find. And we found this place here, in Cuenca, in the middle of Spain, which has these magnificent volcanic creations here. We kept being thrown off locations that we found, not because we behaved badly, but because, they discovered one location that I liked. For this scene, it was a bird sanctuary, that they were developing vultures and eagles and stuff like that. And it was nesting season, so, being a Bond film, we have to blow everything up. So we got chucked off that. And one before we got chucked off for geological reasons, and so I was tearing my hair out because I'd liked the other two locations, and then we found this, and this, of course, is the best of them all.
For the opening sequence, the unit moved to Bilbao, where local interest reached fever pitch.
The film has brought us almost ground to a halt in Bilbao. Here we are against the beautiful Guggenheim Museum, which I thought was one of the great images for the film. It's beautiful, it's exotic, it's a good Bond location.
Bilbao has been amazing. The reception we got here yesterday, people on the street, and doing this sequence, it's the opening sequence, it's the opening of the movie. Bond flying out a window. Here we are, top of the world.
This is the beginning of a long skiing sequence. We're about 12,000 feet, and strain on the old body for the actors for the cold. And, when you're not used to working at this altitude, it takes you a long time to get used to it.
The biggest problem with finding areas that have no skiers or anything like that have to be accessible, and I'm sure, as you notice coming up here, it's pretty inaccessible, especially when it snowed. It's like moving an army. We've got 170 crew, so we've got some big six-wheel drive machines that we all load up at base camp, which is about half an hour away, a little bit longer in this weather, and they ferry us up to here. And then we get onto skidoos into these various places.
I think the great things about the Bond movies have been the stunts, that this isn't computer generated, this is for real.
Many of the film's trademark action sequences are designed and shot by the second unit, headed up by stunt coordinator Simon Crane and second unit director Vic Armstrong.
The problem with all Bond sequences, you feel you have to top the previous ones. And the danger with snow during a chase sequence, I always find, is people tend to relate to it being nice, and it's a pleasurable sport, skiing. So to try and get some danger into it, we've invented these flying ski machines.
Basically, they're powered parachutes. So I've got 5 extremely good parachutists, and so they now have the benefits of an engine to help them get out of trouble a bit. Not anyone could get hold of these and expect them to work as well.
No matter how big the stunt, the body is always there, the man is always there in Bond movies. They don't cheat.
That's good, perfect, really good, nice landing. Took the top of the boat out of the gun, which is what we wanted to do. Steering snapped as we landed, that's why I sort of clunked into the wall the other side.
You've always got to push things, always, otherwise you get the same old boring stuff. You've always got to change the way you do it, make it bigger, make it better.
We do have gadgets, and people look forward to them in the Bond films because of Bond's world and the way those things are presented in his world.
Now, pay attention, please.
Everybody loves Q. Everybody waits for it. For me, he's like the Merlin. You know, he's the last person that Bond sees before he goes out on the mission. Now pay attention, Bond. These are your tricks. Go forth, do the mission.
My name is Nick Finlayson. I'm a senior special effects technician. I've been labelled with the moniker the Real Q, but I am in fact one of about 75 real Qs on this picture. The gadgets are always the fun part of the film. Our biggest problem now, of course, is trying to keep up with technology.
I suppose we all have to pay the piper sometime, right, Q?
Oh, pipe down, 007. Point is, really, although he disapproves of Bond's way of life, over the years he's become extremely fond of him. Something you destroyed, my fishing boat, for my retirement, away from you.
It's a scene that people are very affectionate about. They're very affectionate about Desmond. Desmond is now in his mid-80s. He likes to keep going with it, but he said to me, I can't handle all this technical chat. Don't give me any of that. So, you know, we want to look for a kind of a partner for him.
Now, I want to introduce you to the young fellow I'm grooming to follow me.
Helps if you open the door.
And you might be... This is 007.
If you're Q, does that make him R?
Ah, the legendary 007 whip. Well, I'm playing Q's deputy, because Desmond, who is doing his 17th Bond, which is magnificent, decided about 3 movies ago that he needed a deputy, and he's finally got his way. Now, I dare say, 007, that you've met your match with this machine.
Yeah, new model, improved specs.
I've always thought anybody who is seriously interested in technology has got something wrong with them, you know, something missing. It's somewhere in the emotional part of themselves. So I have terrible trouble with these lines today. As I was saying, the very latest in intercept and counter something.
Take mine.
All right. Very latest in intercept and what is it? Counter what? Titanium armor, a multitasking heads-up display, and 6 beverage cup holders. All in all, rather stocked.
The famous twanging guitar and distinctive theme tune have remained constant throughout the Bond series. While embracing what's gone before, composer David Arnold is also keen to put his own individual stamp on the music.
I think whenever you start off, you know, on a Bond sort of chase, you know, you kind of really got to do that, and then you're there immediately. Always marry the Bond sound with this kind of, you know, modern technology. So alongside all this electronic stuff, you're still going to have, you know, the orchestra playing a bit of the old stuff. So you're constantly reminded of where you are. If James Bond abandoned his dinner jacket or his womanizing or his gadget using, you'd kind of feel a little bit cheated, you know. So I mean, I think the music is something that it's a bit of a safety net for an audience, you know. I think, and I think without it, you've got an action movie. You haven't got a James Bond movie.
We've said it all along when we got together in Garbage, you know, if we had a dream, it would be to record the Bond theme, just because the sensibility is quite similar to how we approach making music. I've jumped at the chance because I think it's an institution that I admire and has always captured my imagination since I was a kid.
I actually haven't heard anyone scream on the phone before. Never come across a more enthusiastic response to a "do you want to do this?" question. To
sing with a full orchestra is just so exhilarating, and the entire time I felt unworthy. I did my best, what can I say?
The name's Bond. James Bond.
The subtle Irish charms of new boy Pierce Brosnan contributed to the phenomenal success of GoldenEye. As well as rekindling the enthusiasm of Bond fans the world over, the film spawned a new generation of admirers and secured Brosnan as the Bond for the millennium.
Doing this the third time round, it's comfortable. It's comfortable. I actually looked forward to doing it.
Well, I think Pierce has the sort of charisma of James Bond, and he has that polish. I think he also has a vulnerability that he can play without appearing weak, and that gives us the opportunity to try out different stories.
He's just got that Celtic edge to him, really, and I think he's got a hardness to him, which has been lacking for a while. I think you can believe that Pierce Brosnan could kill you, actually. You know, he's got something in his eyes.
I think Pierce Brosnan is rotten, actually. I've been speaking to Barbara because I've got my eye on the part myself. That's when I've had my hip replacement operation and the rest of the surgery that goes.
I tip my hat to Mr. Apted because he has surrounded me with really wonderful actors, and it just makes the job easier and it makes it more believable. Then you surround all of that in the hijinks of James Bond, and hopefully you've got one dang good movie.